The snow had stopped, but the air had grown even colder. The streets of New York were blanketed in a thick blanked off-white, like the city donning a bright, yet inaccessible, new coat. Haley, walking back to her villa from get-off work at the cafe, felt a complex and tangled feeling in her heart. Brandon showed up almost every day these days. Sometimes he'd bring her a cup of warm coffee, sometimes a hardcover book. Occasionally, he'd wait for her at the door, and they'd walk for a while, chatting about their childhood dreams and their futures. Each time, Brandon was gentle and thoughtful, always giving her a moment of respite from the constant stress. But every time she smiled easily around Brandon, there was always a faint voice in her heart resisting. She knew that the person she really cared about was Alexander, yet Alexander grew increasingly silent. Busy with his business struggles. Perhaps he was deliberately giving Haley some space, even though they shared the same roof. Their conversations, become and cautious, he no longer proactively inquired about her daily life, nor did he come downstairs for dinner. With her, sometimes, Haley would wander downstairs, hoping to hear his door upon. One night, when Haley arrived at the door of her house, she saw Brandon standing at the bottom of the steps with a bunch of snow-white lilies and hishioned. "I just happened to be passing by your house," Brandon said with a smile, "and wanted to talk to you." Haley was a little surprised, but she still invited him in. The two sat on sofa in the living room, and Brandon casually chatted about the latest news, interesting things in life, and a promotion opportunity he had received from the California headquarters. "Have you ever thought about moving to another city, like Los Angeles?" Brandon asked tentatively. "I really want to try it, but I'm afraid I'm too timid." Haley smiled bitterly. "You're not a coward at all. You just haven't learned to make decisions for yourself," Brandon said gently, just as the atmosphere between them was growing increasingly intimate. Alexander's footsteps echoed upstairs. He stood on stairs, his black turtleneck sweater highlighting his sharp features. His gaze flickered between Lily and Brandon, a noticeable chill in his expression. "Haley, are you free to come to the study?" Alexander asked calmly, with a hint of irresistibility. Haley responded and said to Brandon, "Wait for me." After the study door was closed, the air seemed to be filled with the smell of gunpowder. "Brandon comes to see you every day." Alexander's voice was low. Every word was like a sharp blade. "Just a friend. He cares about me." There was a hint of unconscious defensiveness in Haley's tone. "Think clearly. He doesn't just want to be your friend." Alexander's eyes were sharp. "I hope you can understand that some people approach you, not necessarily because they like you." "What about you?" Haley suddenly asked. "Do you want me to only look at you? When have you ever walked into my life?" Alexander frowned and remained silent for a long time. Haley's voice gradually choked up. "Every day now, I live cautiously. You gave me a home, but it's like you've locked me up in a glass case, leaving me both free and lonely." He reached out to comfort her, but ultimately did nothing. He simply whispered behind her, "I'm afraid I've hurt you." "Your silence is also a kind of hurt," Haley murmured. Alexander seemed to be stung by her, and his tone finally lowered. "I'm sorry, it's just, sometimes jealousy makes me hard to express." The two fell into silence. Only the wind and snow outside the window hit the glass, as if playing a slower rhythm for their confrontation. Back in the living room, Brandon noticed the atmosphere was off and smiled gently. "I'm going to Los Angeles on a business trip tomorrow. I hope to see you again when I get back." "I hope so too." Haley smiled slightly but didn't say much. Before leaving, Brandon whispered, "You don't have to choose between and yon. Just remember that everyone should be working for you, not the other way around." Haley nodded, feeling mixed emotions. That night, she sat quietly in her bedroom for a long time. Linda brought her some hot milk and said, "Don't overwork yourself. Their pressure in the villa has been very low lately, and everyone is being very careful." "Did I do something wrong?" Haley asked in a low voice. Linda shook her head slightly. "You just don't understand what you want yet." "What about Alexander? What is he afraid of?" "He's afraid you'll leave," Linda said softly. "Anyone who truly loves someone, afraid of losing them." The next morning, Alexander waited in the kitchen. As soon as Haley entered, he handed her a cup of hot coffee. "I thought about this for a long time last night. You're right. I shouldn't have trapped you in a world of your own. You have the right to be jealous. But I hope you can trust me." Haley looked at him seriously. "I believe in you. I'm just afraid that my weakness will disappoint you." "You didn't disappoint anyone," Haley whispered. "You were just too afraid of getting hurt." Alexander let out a long breath, and finally smiled, a genuine smile. "We should all be braver." That day, Brandon didn't show up. Haley suddenly missed him and realized the complex emotions she harbored for everyone who came into her life. She sent Brandon a message. "Have a safe trip." A quick reply came. "Thank you, and remember, no matter what, you are never alone." In the evening, Haley was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and Alexander came over. To help, the two of them divided Tuark, tacitly as they did in the past, and the barriers between them Meadow have quietly melted away. You can tell me anything in the future, Alexander whispered. The same to you. The two smiled at each other. At that moment, the wind and snow seemed to make way for them, and the knot in their hearts loosened. Late at night, a text message arrived on my phone. From an unknown number. Your choice could bring danger. Haley's heart tightened. She knew external threats and her inner struggle were far from over. She took a deep breath, gazed at the stars outside the window, and silently made a resolution. No matter how difficult the future, she would stay true to her heart and face all storms with equanimity.
Please stay tuned for the next episode.
See you there.